did a mountain lion devour the victims of the Bennington Triangle? How does this explain James Tetford vanishing from a moving bus? Astrophysics author Maurice Franks thinks the missing people fell victim to an exotic phenomenon of modern science, a wormhole.
The wormhole is a tunnel between 2 points in space and time, where if something went in one end of the wormhole, it would come out instantly at the other end, no matter how far away that other end may be. In other words, not limited by the Einstein's limit on the speed of light, 186,284 miles per second, as the speed of travel, but instantaneous communication. Wormholes unquestionably exist at the subatomic level. There's no question about that. And apparently there is no limit to the size to which a wormhole can be made.
Could a human stumble into a wormhole? Frank says it's happened before, to none other than the U.S. military.
In 1943, the United States Navy wanted a technology to make battleships disappear from enemy radar. And they commissioned Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla to work on the project. It was called the Philadelphia experiment. Now, all this is shrouded in secrecy. And some weird things happened, including the U.S. Eldridge disappeared spontaneously from Philadelphia Harbor and showed up in Norfolk, Virginia, hundreds of miles away. The only explanation I can think of, if that happened, would be a large wormhole.
Did the U.S. government create wormholes to hide battleships? Was the same technology used on the victims in Vermont?
If the people who went missing in the Bennington, Vermont area were sucked into a wormhole, I have no idea where they came out. It could be anywhere on this planet. It could be anywhere in another galaxy.
Were the Bennington Triangle victims snatched by Sasquatch? Were they killed by a mountain lion? Or were they pulled into an intergalactic wormhole? Weird. Or what? Last year, there were 900,000 missing persons recorded in North America. That's nearly 2,500 people who vanish every day. It's a scary thought, isn't it? I mean, the good news is most of these cases are easily explained. Kids running away from home, husbands running away from wives, or the IRS. But there's one case that doesn't fit into any category, and that's because it happened in mid-air. October 21st, 1978. A Cessna 182 takes off from Melbourne's Moorabbin Airport. At the controls is Frederick Valentine, a 20-year-old flying instructor with the Australian Air Training Corps. His story has been documented by author Reg Watson.
He had a passion for flying, and because of this, he'd already knocked up 150 flying hours. He wanted to become a commercial pilot.
Frederick is bound for King Island, a short flight across the vast strait that separates mainland Australia from Tasmania.
Bass Strait is the most fascinating place. There has been a number of underground earthquakes there. So it is a very dangerous area, volatile area, and many boats, if you like, mysteriously go missing. Valentine had planned to leave Moorabbin Airport to go to King Island to meet some friends there. His ability was good. It was excellent flying weather.
It's little more than an hour's flight time to King Island Airport. So far, it's been going smoothly.
It was only going about 120 miles per hour. Full tank. It had been well looked after. There was no problem with the craft itself. It should have got to King Island without any problem.
But 47 minutes into the journey, Frederick notices another, much larger aircraft flying at the same altitude.
Valentine was travelling about 4,500 feet in elevation. And the question that he asked Moorabbin, are there any aircraft below 5,000?
Delta Security, there seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000.
Manning the radio at Moorabbin Airport is air traffic controller Steve Roby. He checks the board. There's nothing else in the area. Suddenly, the other aircraft makes several high-speed passes above and below his much smaller Cessna.
It seems to be that he's playing some sort of game.
He's saying it's travelling under me. Within a short period of time, he's saying it's 1,000 feet above me. And then he says it's coming towards me. He asked the amazing question. He said, are there any Air Force craft in the area? Moorabbin said no.
The craft then veers close enough for Frederick to get a good look at it.
He said, well, it's long, shiny like metal.
It's got a green light and sort of metallic. It's all shiny on the outside.
Obviously, he's not familiar with it.
Suddenly, Frederick's engine begins to sputter and his controls malfunction.
The engine is rough lightly.
But now the strange craft is performing even more frightening maneuvers around Frederick's plane.
It's travelling at incredible speeds. He said it's vanishing. It's orbiting me now.
Roby asked the young pilot to repeat his description of the unidentified aircraft. Frederick's answer is chilling.
That strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again. It's hovering, and it's not an aircraft.
He says it's not an aircraft, and then it goes off.
It's Frederick's last transmission. Roby desperately tries to re-establish contact, but all he hears is a metallic clicking noise that ends with radio silence.
It was presumed that Frederick has smashed into the sea, and as a consequence, a search was arranged.
Frederick's Cessna is equipped with a radio beacon. It should be easy to locate. But as rescuers search, the mystery only deepens.
No wreckage, no body, and no oil spill was ever found.
If ever there was a genuine mystery, this is it, and here's why. It couldn't have been an accident. You see, your chances of being involved in an air crash are about 1 in 11 million. You got far more chance of being killed by a bee sting.
Ow.
Or choking on food. Or climbing a ladder. Or falling out of bed. Get it?
What happened to Frederick Thunt? What did he see before he disappeared? Victor Vigiani is a paranormal investigator who studied the incident. He makes the case that Frederick was attacked by the only vehicle capable of the maneuvers he described, an alien spaceship.
One of the things that we know for sure is that this craft did circular things around his craft. So it would hover below, it would hover above, beside, and he was sort of looking all over the place and watching this thing come and go and dart. Normal aircraft can't do that.
Vigiani says Frederick wasn't the only person to see the UFO that was arrested. It was also visible to witnesses on land.
There was a family of 3 or 4, 2 adults and 1 or 2 children who were driving along the road and actually saw the Valanche's craft moving along over the ocean and the UFO above it.
The UFO's technology was so powerful, it was able to cripple the Cessna's engine and instruments.
The electromagnetic influences that are part of the UFO phenomenon are manifested in the avionics. There were many instances where pilots had seen their instrumentation go just completely wild.
But why wasn't there any wreckage? Simple. The plane didn't crash.
My personal opinion is that that craft in some way was taken onto the UFO.
Vigiani is sure the authorities know it and have covered it up.
The general public has been conditioned to do is seek out those other explanations. Not just the human mind seeking rational arguments. The cover-up has also very psychologically conditioned us to go for the rational argument. Well, it's only this. Well, it's just a weather phenomenon. Well, it's just a flock of birds.
Was the Cessna taken on board by a UFO? Or did Frederick conceal his true intentions?
This is somebody that actually planned his disappearance.